Dionne Dean back with another video, and as you can see, I'm not in my office in front of all of my bins, but I have a special guest for you.
Hi guys, hi ladies, hi gentlemen.
This is Colleen, my new bestie, and we had the best conversation about like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
2-3 weeks ago, and I was like, I have to get it on camera because I know a lot of times as a thrifter, those who are resellers or anyone who just loves fashion, we just kind of see ourselves going to the bins, going to Goodwill, whatever, we're finding great deals, but there's an impact to those deals. And so after having a conversation with Colleen, I went home and was like, you know that by me buying my Chanel Jumbo secondhand, I am like saving starving kids around the world. And he's like, no, absolutely not. But I just wanted to bring you in on the conversation. I have so many amazing people within my network and new besties that I make.
Yeah.
And now it's time to really expose you guys to that. So we're basically going to have a conversation. And the basis of it is, why do you thrift and what impact does it have? And so, like I said, she made me feel so good about being a thrifter. I was like, I'm going to Goodwill right now to go save a starving child somewhere. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so we're just going to have a conversation. And we'll probably do a live at some point having the same conversation, or maybe we'll do one after this. So you may be seeing this video after the live. I don't know. It's all up in the air. But we're just going to have a conversation. So, Colleen.
Yes.
Why do you thrift?
Well, actually, I first started thrifting because my grandmother, who's Depression era, she actually used to buy all of our stuff secondhand. And when I was younger, I was like, all right, Grandma, that's cool, but you know, why?
Yeah.
And it didn't sink in. She would buy that and a savings bond, and what she was doing is setting us up for success financially.
Yeah.
So those savings bonds, once they matured, I bought my first car with savings bonds.
Ooh,
And-
child.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
wealth, honey. Wealth. Okay,
I mean, it was
go
only
ahead.
$900.
It doesn't matter.
It works.
It's wealth.
And so that's kind of like my first introduction to that. And then my mom would make a lot of my clothes too, so it wasn't like we were always going shopping. And she would buy secondhand too, because we were, working class, blue collar from Buffalo,
Yeah.
and kids grow out of clothes so fast. Why not thrift?
Yeah.
So fast forward, living in New York,
Mhm.
being a designer. I decided to not just design, but also there was a need for people to take all the stuff that they were designing, because I don't know if you know how it works with the designer, but usually when you design, there's like a first, second, and third sample.
Mhm.
Well, there would always be so much extra stuff left
Yeah,
over,
yeah.
and these designers would just say, Colleen, I know you keep your desk clean. Can you come help me when I'm moving? So it just kind of started from there, like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll help you move, I'll help you purge the stuff, and then we'll take it and thrift it. And then I realized, I was like, but I'm taking it and thrifting it, but I feel like there's way more impact that could be had. So I'm like, all right, well, we can resell, we can upcycle, and that's where I started taking my sewing skills and turning it into something new.
Yeah.
So last year I went all thrift. I didn't buy anything new, and the reason why I did that is because, come to find out, the average person, it's actually taken from the UK, has 23 articles of clothing with tags still on them.
And see, I want them all at the Goodwill outlet for me to buy.
We'll take that and send it on your
And
way.
send it on my way.
Yeah.
And you mentioned before we go further, Colleen is a designer. And so who were you working for previously, or what brands have you worked for? Because I think sometimes, we see people like us who were in fashion and we're not in fashion. You're like, okay, whatever, you're not really in fashion. But
Oh no, we're legit.
We're
real.
legit. We
We're
got
real.
degrees and stuff, honey. And where did you go to school?
So I went to Buffalo State College,
Uh-huh.
and then also the Fashion Institute of Technology.
FIT for those of you who
FIT.
don't know. And then you were designing with who?
I was designing with Victoria's Secret Pink.
Victoria's Secret. Okay, so she's legit. Okay, so tell us, keep going.
All right, so actually we'll go off of Victoria's Secret.
Yeah.
So there was a day we literally had a Get Trash Day, and in this Get Trash Day, there were bins upon bins upon bins that were like 12 by 5 of
Yeah.
stuff of samples and findings, trims, and things like that
Yeah.
were just being thrown away. And this is pre-Fashion Revolution, so this was 2012, 2013. And so I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff here. But I know as a design student, the most expensive thing that you pay for is all of your the fabric that you have to buy, all the trims, all the supplies. Like, you go to design school and then you pay for design school supplies. So I was like, why don't we take this stuff and donate it to my friend Julie, that's a fashion teacher down on the Lower East Side.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, it's getting burned. And I was like,
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, what?
Is there a reason why they have to just discard it in that way instead of donating it?
Well, I totally understand for that, because if it has the pink logo on it of Victoria's Secret,
Okay.
it needs to go. But there were so many things that were just like solid jersey that could be reused.
Yeah.
So when I saw that waste and it was getting burned, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to work in this industry that's so pollutant. And I've also, let me backtrack, I've had like a Save the Earth club since I was 8, so I've always been a little bit
You're
of
a tree hugger.
I have
a tree hugger.
But there's money to be made in sustainability too. So when I realized that there was a way to go in, purge things from people's closets, resell them, and not have to buy anything new, I was like, Grandma, you're an OG. You were ahead of the game in so many ways. Like, she was just ahead of her time. So I just figured it would be my way to contribute to a better way for the industry. And then the Rana Plaza happened, which the anniversary is actually coming up. It's on April 24th, where 1,138 people were killed.
That was in Bangladesh, right?
Yes, in Bangladesh, where the building collapsed, and not to get too morose, but the building collapsed, and it was all because the building upkeep wasn't being paid properly for.
And it was over 1,000 people, right?
Well over 1,000.
Well over 1,000 people, yeah.
And so this kind of spawned, and finally gave some backing. Like, I would not wish that to happen. Like, I'm sorry, like, I wish that didn't have to happen that way. But it was kind of like the benchmark that finally the industry was like, oh, okay, maybe we do need to do something. And so when Fashion Revolution came about, I had already quit Victoria's Secret to start my own thing, and I've actually met one of the co-founders, Ursula DeCastro of Fashion Revolution, and I was like, girl, upcycling, thrifting, repurposing. I finally found someone in fashion that was like aligned with my core values and what I wanted to do. And so I've taken Fashion Revolution and just, let's run with it. Let's talk about like how you can buy secondhand and not only save money, but also look really chic. Like secondhand chic, I think is even more stylish because you're not going to look like anybody else. And I think that's what really caught my eye with you, because I was like, oh, she's got something special.
I've got style.
She's for sure.
And the thing that's so funny is, like, you know, when I was at Fashion Week and I was wearing this fabulous like $12 faux fur, I got so many questions about that $12 faux fur. And one thing, you know, living in New York, I feel like everybody in New York is at the thrift store, right? Everybody, any fashionable person is like your grandma is shopping at the thrift store, is doing secondhand, and we make it chic. So it just makes sense that we would recycle clothing and not to say I don't buy new, because you guys know I like the new. I like the new. But it just makes sense. And so tell us about Fashion Revolution, because you know we talked for a good while, but I want to make sure that we get the good stuff. So what is Fashion Revolution, and what is your involvement, and how can we get involved, and all that kind of stuff?
For sure. So Fashion Revolution is asking, well, it says I made your clothes, but it's asking who made your clothes. So what they do is they're asking for you to take the label, flip it inside out, and ask the label, like, who made my clothes? Because there needs to be a transparency for the supply chain of, like, where did this cotton come from? Who was the person that sewed it together? Who is the person that's shipping it? Like, where is the transparency in the supply chain, so that we know that it's being done in a proper way and people are getting fair wages and they're in a livable, working, safe place to work. Like, no one should have to go to work and like be worried about like a building collapsing on them. But also, so they're calling out the transparency to all the big suppliers, and it's in its 4th year, and we're having my friends and I here down in Miami organized the first Fashion Revolution Miami event last year. It was a great success. We had a panel, and we spoke about these things, about upcycling, recycling, and just how you can do better to buy less, choose well, the whole Vivienne Westwood mentality. And so this year we're going to have it at a big factory, and we have over 9 brands involved. Wow. Dionne will be there.
I'll be there. Be fabulous.
Yeah, and just we're gonna like you wouldn't think, but like a lot of people, at least in our like generation, like they don't know how to sew on a button or sew a hem or fix like a hole. Where like so many things that I see, and if you guys were, I'm not going to show this, but a lot of the work that I have, like work in progress, there's actually a mend pile.
I love it.
And a lot of times people will just throw away things because there's a little tear. And I just feel like if you mend it up, like it's no big deal.
I've seen so many designer pieces. Like, okay, I understand you don't want to like mend a button, you know, on the Forever 21 or whatever. But I mean, Fendi, you know, Diane von Furstenberg, Dries Van Noten, and you know, I love a Dries Van Noten. But there's so many like Gucci, you know, with buttons missing, or maybe it has like a tear in the seam, and it's in a pile. And I'm thinking, really? Did you get rid of this like $1,000 blouse because it had tear in the seam. Like, the little Jamaican in me was just like, I could sew that
Yes.
up, you know?
Bring it down here. We'll sew
Yeah,
it
it's
for
like,
you.
now I know to bring my stuff.
Mhm.
I have a question for you because you talked about, like, you know, who made your clothes. Are there some countries that are better than others? Like, are there some, you know, we read a label, we see a certain country, should we be like, I don't know if that's something I can purchase, or...
I don't know if it's per country, but it would just definitely be per company.
Okay.
So
some companies are better than others.
Absolutely.
So what are the good companies?
Well, not that we're all going hiking up a mountain trail, but Patagonia, I'm a big proponent of them because they're kind of also like the originators of not just doing it because it's good for the earth, but there's also money to be made it. They're just kind of like, this is our lifestyle. Like, we are one with nature. So they actually put out a... it was a jacket, I want to say it was 2013, and their whole ad for this jacket, it was a blue jacket. It was like, do not buy this jacket, in big, bold words. And it was like, do not buy this jacket unless you're willing to make a commitment to it. Because if you think about it, I think it was an $800 jacket, and they said that if it tears, send it back. If the button falls off, we'll repair it. If there's a rip, we'll add it back on. We're going to make this last for X amount of seasons. Because if you think about an $800 jacket, and being from Buffalo, like, winter jackets are super important.
Yeah.
But if you wear a jacket for 8 seasons, and that's only $100 a season.
Yeah.
And if you think about buying your clothes like that, like, how long am I going to wear this? How many times am I going to wear it? I think that you'll make much better decisions, not just with choosing what it is, but choosing the quality, because you want it to last, which I think that's a big thing that's happened a lot since a lot of fast fashion is just all about, like, push it out, push it out, push it out, make it, like, make more and more and more. Like,
and nothing special.
Nothing
special,
let's slow down. Let's go a little bit slower and make things that are quality, really good, like, crafted pieces that are going to last. And it's not like you throw it in the laundry once and it disintegrates.
Yeah.
And but by the way, that jacket, I think they're within the first couple quarters, their stocks, they made plus like $223 million, because the millennial generation wants this. They want quality made pieces. They are the next big, aside from the baby boomers, they're the next big group of people that are going to, like, decide how money is going to be spent. So so Patagonia, but there's also a lot of other brands, like even the ones here in Miami, there's a couple local ones that are doing really great things. The Anikas, they do a lot of cool beachwear. They promote sustainability through keeping artisan techniques alive. So they hand block print things in Ecuador, and then they still use a lot of the looms. Suspiro, she uses all hand, like, organic cotton woven fabric for her bags. Corel Wear uses dead stock fabrics or dead stock yarn. So yarn that's just like maybe is from a bigger company like a Macy's or something like that. They're just like, all right, we want to get rid of it. Or like what Victoria's Secret did, they're like, let's just get rid of it. But if there's still a use for it, like you can still use it. So there's a lot of great companies, even just here in Miami, that are doing things.
As you're talking, I'm thinking about, like, why I got into fashion and why I love high fashion and couture is because it was of that mindset that you don't just buy a Chanel coat or jacket or whatever, or Fendi fur every season. Like, you invest in one piece that's going to last you forever. So even looking at the design turnaround, and like fast fashion has actually gone into like high fashion, because now every season they're like one of the bags that I know everybody loves, like the Gucci Marmont bag, right? Came out like 5 years ago, 4 years ago, but every year they come up with a different color, different variation, and I'm like, who the heck can, you know, do that every season? 5,000, 4,000. I remember when, you know, I saw, especially like in Palm Beach when I used to work, and I would see these, you know, beautiful young girls who were wearing their grandmother's Louis Vuitton.
Yes.
Or their grandmother's.
Story.
That's why I fell in love with the Chanel Jumbo, because I would see women who were wearing their grandmothers or their great grandmothers, like, you know what I mean, like their Chanel Jumbo. Now it's kind of like, oh, okay, you'll watch a haul, and I do this, I'm not gonna lie, but you'll watch, like, you know, an unboxing video, and they have like a wall full of designer bags, and I'm thinking, that's not why Coco, like, I know her, right? But that's not, you know, that's not, I feel, that's not what fashion is about. You buy, and like I said, you know, I love a Primark, I love a Forever 21 Plus, but that's not what fashion for me is about. It's about getting those pieces that I'm looking forward to handing down to Riley. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I think about it. I think a lot of you feel that way too. and just not being able to like catch up. And I don't know, maybe it's just me because I watch these unboxing videos, and every season there's a new bag, there's a new pant, there's a new, and I love watching fashion shows, but there's like a new leather now is at the point where you can like purchase right when it comes off the runway.
Yes.
It's
Well,
like,
but that's also, I feel like when you create, and people always ask me like, how do you think fashion could really like benefit from like helping eliminate, because it's the second most polluting industry after oil.
okay.
So when people are like, what do you think fashion could do to like kind of slow its roll? I'm like, let's start with the marketers, because as soon as you create, I don't know if you ever watched with the Don Draper, what is it? Mad Men? Okay, well in Mad Men, when Elizabeth Moss is, I think it's Elizabeth Moss, she has to like put out this lipstick, and I wish I could like, I'm gonna get it for the next time, but word for word, she basically makes this lipstick is like, I can put the dinner in and be home by 5 and have the kids ready and smile ready for you. So what she's doing is she's selling this lipstick to say like, you're only good enough if you're wearing this lipstick. Like you're only able to do all these things if you wear this lipstick. So I think it starts with the messaging that we have in advertising, where it's like buy less, choose well. But also, I got into fashion because the first time that I went for an interview, and granted, like my family, my parents, hardworking, like great, smart people, but I'm the first one to go to college in my family. And so we're blue collar. I went for an interview, and this woman that was supposed to be there to assist me and help me grow.
I remember you told me this story. Yeah.
She ripped me apart because I wasn't dressed properly. But the thing is, I didn't have any example to go through. So I was like, you want to know what? When I go in for fashion, I want to be able to dress like and look professional and feel confident, whether I'm wearing like $10,000 or $10. And so I wanted to go into fashion not just because labels, because a lot of people, I'm a designer, but a lot of other people will know more labels than I do. I like when things look good. And like we were just talking about.
I wish you could see the back of the shirt, by the way. We'll do that later. Okay. Fabulous. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you should be able to dress confidently and look really good. And you can style that way through secondhand. Like
exactly, at any income level. And so that's like the basis of like YouTube channel, like at whatever income level. And I would tell my students this when I was working in academia. It's like at whatever income level, you should be able to dress well. And I love the good stuff, but I was not willing to leave that alone. I had to leave Saks and Neiman's alone. I had to cut up the card. I didn't want to, but I had to cut up the card. But I'm like, I still want my Lubus. I still want my Louis Vuitton. How am I going to make this work? And so thrift and consignment is how I make it work. And you're saving babies. You're changing the world. But
because only like 10% of that stuff gets resold anyways. Actually, I was just talking.
Say that again. Only 10% of that stuff gets resold. Wow. So what would the world be like without a reseller then?
Oh, I don't know. SOL. Major SOL.
So before we leave, because we can talk like forever, and let me know in the comments if you want. Doesn't matter what you say in the comments. We're going to be doing a lot more videos. But tell us, and I feel like this is going to hurt my feelings and a lot of people's feelings. So what companies are doing the worst when it comes to like?
Oh,
We need to know, right? We need to.
I will say this. So there's a fashion index. If you go to fashionrevolution.org, there's actually a fashion index that will give you charts, because I'm a very visual person. It'll give you a chart to the people that have responded to say like what their sustainability methods are, and there you can look through. There's names that, and I'm not saying good nor bad, like American Eagle, Abercrombie, I think Louis Vuitton.
So all the mall stores, they're all on there.
Not everyone responded because not everyone is actually doing it. That's why we have Fashion Revolution calling out who made my clothes. So that's why we got to have these conversations, because the way that we spend our money is how we're going to be able to change what brands do. So if we're not willing to buy that new coat, that new purse every season, which I think it's way more rad to have your grandma stuff like. Catherine, like I wish I had her stuff here now, but like I think that's way more of a personal style to do it that way. But you can check fashionrevolution.org and just be mindful of like buy less, choose well. Shopping secondhand is a form of sustainable design because you're not creating anything
We're
new.
Changing lives.
Yeah.
I tried to tell my husband I am changing lives with this real.
You are. You're doing a great job, and you're looking fabulous doing it.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. Yeah. All right, so let's end the video here because we can go on forever and ever, but we will definitely have calling back. Tell us about. So it's fashionrevolution.org.
Yes.
And then when is the event? Do you have the date for the event yet?
Yes, the one here in Miami is going to be on Saturday, April 28th from 2 to 6 p.m. And we have some really big speakers that are coming. And then we're also doing the largest clothes swap that's happened in Miami. So if you have any of your no thank you piles, bring them on over. We'll swap them on out.
Ooh.
And then we're also doing little DIY, because the theme this year is repair, rewear. I'll say that 5 times fast. Repair and rewear. So we'll have a bunch of the local designers, myself included, with the full edit, doing some teaching how to either make like upcycled denim bracelets, upcycled denim jackets, painting on your jackets, putting on a button, stitching a hem, you know, all the fun stuff. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited about the clothes swap because these Miamians got a lot of good stuff in their closet. So
yes,
there's a lot of good in there.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
She's like my new bestie.
Yay.
I'm just so excited. And so I will be there on the 28th, and so we'll do like more before you get there. So check out my Instagram. Like I said, I'm probably going to do a live, but you will have seen that before you see this. So just stay tuned. You never know what's going to happen on my channel. Love you. We never pay retail. Mwah. Bye.
I love it.